Welcome to Liberating in a Beauty Revolution. I am Lucia Gabriela and I am welcome to a kitchen to cook delicious, healthy, healing meals. Today's recipe is going to be a delicious vegetarian paella. Usually paellas are made of seafood. I come from Spain and we carry in different parts of South America too, like in Ecuador, Peru, Chile, and different countries we do our own paella. But I'm gonna make a vegetarian paella. I have tasted some vegetarian paellas in like famous restaurants, and I have been very disappointed at how I make them. And I have made paellas, vegetarian paellas for a while, and everybody loved them. And I want to share that recipe with you today. So what we're going to use for paella, we're gonna be using peppers, we're gonna be tomatoes, scallion. We're gonna use mushrooms. We're gonna use peas, organic corn. We're gonna also use asparagus. And the most important ingredient, we're gonna be using rice. For our paella, we're gonna be using the brown rice. A lot of the times, we can also use white rice. I am not too fanatic about using brown rice in everything I do because from one of my teachers back in IIN, I learned that Joshua, he shared with us that even in microbiotic food, when they were using a lot of brown rice, they found out in his research and in his daily life eating habit and what he was teaching people, it was that some people and himself, they become very low in deficiency in iron and in other kind of like minerals. So he definitely recommend not to be too fanatic about using brown rice in everything we do. So it is good to have white rice, but the white rice that comes from like, jasmine rice, or like they do have some pigmentation, not that white rice that is like so bleached out. That's not the white rice we're talking about, because one of the things I got confused when I came to America from Ecuador, it was that back home we have rice, and you have natural rice. And the rice was like a nice whitish, but it had like a little pearl color to it. So when people were telling me, oh, you cannot eat that rice, I was very confused and I did my research. And I found out that there were so many hundreds of versions of rice and that it was okay. Those type of rice were good. They were not like bleached out. So now what I'm doing here is like I'm rinsing the rice, the brown rice. I recommend and I always suggest everyone to soak their rice, their beans, their grains, their nuts and seeds. It's always good to soak them before we use them. So this rice has been already soaked for, it had been like maybe 4 hours that it had been soaked. So we're gonna add more water to it and we're rinsing them because they release this acid, phytic acid, that is very toxic for the body. All nuts, beans, grains and seeds are very acidic because they have phytic acid, so they're not good for the belly. Especially with beans. You have to soak them for like hours or sometimes even days. I have been able to cook for people who are very sensitive to beans, and when they taste my beans, they really don't have any problem because I have soaked them for like days. The same thing with rice. So what we're going to do is we're going to start making the rice first. Because rice, even though that takes a little bit time, this dish, it can be very fast. I know, you're going to ask me how many cups of water, how many cups of rice. My gosh, I've been cooking for so long that sometimes I lose track of it. I did 3 cups of rice. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to, and how many cups of water? I'm just going to be adding water to it. And just, it's usually the rule to cook rice is to make sure that the water is definitely above the rice. So if you find the water is too much, then you just take it out. So at this moment, if you want to show you, we have some water here. I will just take 1 cup out. And that's pretty much normal. Like 1 to 2 right here, guys. Can you get it, Mikey? Oh, my pedicure too. All right, so we're gonna get the rice going. And we're gonna set it up in like low heat, not too high. Why? Because I want to get it start working in it, because I also want to add some scallions to it because making it nice and yummy. So I'm gonna be doing that now. We're just gonna put this away. We're gonna take 1 scallion just for the rice, and we're gonna chop it and add it to it. Another one of my secret I learned from my mom, or from my uncle, the family, is that we usually put butters or oils in the rice when we're cooking them. So it actually start adding that delicious, oily taste to it, like a flavor. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the scallions. I'm gonna add in there, put a little love energy to it, and then we're gonna have our pot, and then we're gonna be adding our famous red palm oil that we like to cook with it, and I'm running out of it. So we're gonna add the red palm oil, and now we can definitely put it up to medium heat and start cooking on medium heat. So make sure it goes there. All right, guys, now we're gonna be doing everything else that we need to do for the paella. So we're gonna be rinsing our 1 pepper, 1 green, 1 yellow, 1 red. Gonna be quick, and we're gonna grab also 3 tomatoes. We're gonna have celery and mushrooms. We have 1 box of mushrooms. I like to use the portobello mushroom. These ones are from Trader Joe, and the baby bella mushrooms. So you can use portobello mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, or any other type of mushrooms that you like. The white mushrooms are good too. I know a lot of people go crazy with. So we already have like half of the mushroom from the other recipe that we did just recently, so you can watch that video too. It will be available to you. We did a delicious ceviche. So we took half of those mushrooms and we put it here. So we soak, we strain, and we bring them up here. So we also gonna need some bowl. I know my friend Mikey has been laughing because our new home, like our kitchen, is now mine. It's my beloved friend, and he's amazing that he's allowing us to have our cooking shows here. So it's not my kitchen, so I don't know where everything is yet. And so I've been like, in the past couple of videos, I've been like, looking every single drawer. You know that feeling when you don't know anywhere? Like you don't know where you are? Yeah, that's me today. So, but next videos, we should have everything in place. And we should know everything. So, we're gonna be cutting like the mushrooms. I'm gonna cut the mushroom. I'm gonna cut everything else. Mushrooms are great for you. Great source of protein. A great replacement for meat. If you are vegetarian, it's awesome. If you want to go vegetarian or you want to become vegetarian, mushrooms are a great way to do so. I became vegetarian for spiritual reasons, not because of any trend or any craziness or fanaticism. I believe that you should listen to your body and see what your body wants to do. I know if you are O, blood type O, it's a little harder to become a vegetarian because by nature, your body is going to be craving for meat. And sometimes you need meat if your body is used to that. And hey, it's just do what works for you, because what works for you may not work for me. And if you're one of the person that want to try this recipe with meat, go for it. The only thing that I would say is that when you cook it with meat, make sure that you always do low heat first, because that's the secret. But with mushrooms, also we do low heat, and all mushrooms have to be cooked or steamed or sauteed before we use them or eat them. They have this acid, this chemical that can become very toxic to the body if you eat a lot of mushrooms. If you eat them. I love mushrooms, and I know some people are gonna be laughing about this, like, oh, they get high on mushrooms, but I don't think that we're gonna get high on these mushrooms today. But definitely you have to cook them so they don't release that, these toxic chemicals. I really don't know if that's the reason why people get high, maybe of that toxic, but however, I have no idea. You can email me and let me know that. If you have any questions, suggestions, or anything you want to share with us, any recipes that you would like us to try and we can share with our community, please email us at support@liberatinginnerbeauty.com. If you are located in Sarasota and you want me to come over and teach you how to cook on a one-on-one, or you want me to set up a whole workshop for you and you plan, let me know. I can always work something out with you. And yay, you want to have access to all our videos, be part of our community at www.liberatinginnerbeauty.com. We have a membership site, and you're going to be able to log in there and have a profile and have access to our videos, our cooking videos, ebooks, and all the help programs that we are creating and that custom made created for our community. So feel free to join us. So one of the ingredients I like to share with you guys all the time is that always be present when you cook. So if you see me now in a few minutes, or you see me quiet, it's because I'm like literally connecting with my food and I'm being grateful. Another ingredient that I like to share is, besides love, your food and being present, is being grateful for every person that has been part of it. And from the moment that they plant it to the moment that they put it on the shelf for you. So never forget that. Gratitude is very important. And that's pretty much the secret, I feel like, is my major ingredient I share, because I can cook the same meal 3,000 times and another is gonna come the same. I know a lot of people test their food like so many times, and it all depends on your mood, your energy that you surround. When I'm very cranky and crazy and bitchy and all that, and my ego always comes to the surface, I prefer not to cook if I'm gonna cook for myself or for my daughter or for my friends or family, because the energy, it will be meet it into the food. And then you're gonna have a crazy, cranky, bitchy mushroom for dinner, and that's not fun. So let me just tell you that any emotion that you put when you're cooking, it will go into your food. So make sure that you have always music going on, like you're meditating, you have some kind of like funny personality, or do something fun. Just don't be boring and cranky and all that stuff. So sometimes my mom have used the peppers seeds, like you can tell, they're very spicy in one aspect, like depending on the color. The red ones usually are like spicy. They add like a little extra flavor to it. So don't go crazy if they're like, oh my god, I have seed on my food. And I'm like, no. Just you know, if the seed want to go into your dish, let it be. You know, there's a reason why I want to go into your dish. So don't go crazy about like the seed, like, oh my god, I had to take all the seed out. So if something want to come in, let it come in. So yeah, we're gonna have that. Peppers are great for you, even though that they're nice shades, like tomatoes are. I like to add peppers in some of my dishes. I like to eat them, not too often. I try to eat nice shades, like tomato, peppers, cucumbers. Not too often. I try to be like very imbalanced with that. In microbiotic, they don't recommend to eat nice shades too much. So we can Google why. But according to some kind of science, said that anything that grows at night is not too much nutritionist for you. But I think that everything, in, you know, not just in moderation, but in balance and in awareness, it's great. So let's not get ourselves crazy with all the to do, what not to do, and all that nonsense. Because when it comes to food, as long as we're grateful and we have love and gratitude, the energy will transform. There is actually a great Dr. Emoto, that he talked about the miracles of water, and he has reported it scientifically that our thoughts and our emotions change the DNA of food. I mean, not the DNA, the molecule of water. So if we are 75% water, imagine what our thought and emotion do to us. And our food also is made of water. So if we transfer those thoughts, we can change the molecule of water in our food. We're also changing the DNA of our water. Because DNA also, I mean, you know what I mean. DNA also has water in it. It's, you know, part of it. I don't go too crazy scientific with this stuff because I'm a kind of person that I like to eat. So I make sure that, you know, all my focus goes in like cooking delicious, eating delicious, loving, being present, and being grateful. If you don't have money for organic food, you know, just blast the food. It's like if you read one of my websites, I talk about like I'd rather you to eat something that is not organic on a happy mood than something that is organic and you are crazy killing people outside and because such a bad mood and you have such a bad day. Just you know, if you're gonna be like that, just eat the toxic stuff anyway. So just be happy. Just be present. We have a rice cooking, so we have to make sure that we look at it. I'm gonna rice it. Gonna shoot a little bit of water. I need to rice it up a little bit. Now we just have that. Remove this dent right here. So what we're gonna be doing right now is we are going to check our rice. So far so good. Oh, yeah, look at that. It looks so good. Usually brown rice takes a little longer to cook. Yeah, it's not done yet. And we're not, we're just gonna raise it up now a little bit. Now that we have prepared everything that we need to prepare, we're gonna warm up a pot to start sauteing all the ingredients. And to garlic. We can add garlic to it. You see? We let's just add one garlic to it. I'm a kind of person that I like to cook with everything I have. So when you come, when you start a Sarasota and Mondays, I usually volunteer at the Kadampa Temple. It's a Buddha temple. And I volunteer every Monday to cook. So you're welcome to come and join me there and try all my delicious meals there, my healthy healing meals. But also, why they love me is because they always ask you, like, Lucia, what do you need for us on Monday? And I'm like, whatever you have. And sometimes, we have great meals, and it's just, you just cook with whatever you have. You don't have to drive yourself crazy, like, oh my God, I have to follow this recipe, I like to follow this. You know what? If this is what you have, great. But if you have something else that you want to add it to it, if you would like something to try it, go for it. Like, it's just, cooking is fun. It's like when you do it from love, it's fun, it's artistic, it's colorful, you just don't drive yourself crazy. So now we're gonna be checking. The pot had to be kind of like warm. I know, don't do this at home. But the pot is warm now. So now we can do our favorite oil, that is palm tree oil, red palm oil. So we just going in there. And I tell you already that this meal, it was prepared for 4 people, but we can have 10 people over. So if you want to join us to one of the workshops, just bring another people over. So we're just gonna wait for this delicious oil to warm up. You don't want to add the food when it's still cold, because it harmed the pot. Those are not my pot. Those are my mom. Well, I have my pot at home, but my mom borrowed me this one. And she's like, make sure you warm up the pot before you cook it. And I'm like, Mom, why? Like, she's like, well, because then you stain the pot. And my mom is such a OCD with pot that, oh my God, they still look like brand new even after 10 years. Like some people you go, like the pot look horrible after a year. And well, not that me. I mean, my mom cleaned my pot sometimes. But she always recommends to warm up the pot before we use them. So that's a great secret, because you don't want you spend a lot of money in pot, like over $300, $400, $500, sometimes $1,000, and you don't want to waste them. So you want to make sure that you take care of the pot very well. I don't know her secret. One day we'll have a show where she is in there, and she will be sharing with us, we're going to translate, because she speaks Spanish and English, so, but mostly Spanish. So we will translate whatever she say with you guys. And she's very funny too. So now that it is warm a little more, we're going to adding all the stuff. So the spices that we're going to be using for our rice, I can start adding that to the rice itself. It's cumin. I know you guys are crazy about measurement. I've been cooking since I'm 12 years old. So it goes with the fun of exploring and doing a lot of mistakes. But for you guys, I'm definitely going to honor that fact that you guys need measurement. So I would say that this is like half a teaspoon. So we're going to add it to the rice. The last thing that we're going to add to anything we do in our cooking is salt. Because I learned when I went to a health fair that salt will become very toxic when you cook with it, like at a high heat. So turmeric, we're going to do like a good, I would say like a good spoon. I like turmeric. It really doesn't taste Too much, like even if you put like 2 handfuls of turmeric, you wouldn't taste it that much because it's healthy for you. It's an anti-cancerous kind of root. It's like very it had curcumin in it, and that the active ingredient of turmeric. I can ask my cousin, he know more of that stuff than I do, but because he worked for the nutraceutical industry. So, turmeric is great for like antibacterial, anti-cancerous, and all that stuff that helps to improve your immunity system. So I like to work with turmeric, and I've been cooking with turmeric for a long time now, like for a couple of years, even before I had my daughter. So it's definitely not an ingredient from Ecuador, but it's definitely an ingredient I like to use for color and health reasons. Even though that all my recipes are inspired by Ecuadorian dishes or South American dishes, I have studied like hundreds of dietary philosophies, and I have gone through so many workshops for cooking, and I have cooked since I'm a child, like 10 years old, 12 years old, and I have learned, and I love to learn cooking channels and things like that, and I use what works for me. I like to modify and adjust, take a little bit this, a little bit that, and I feel like everything like that is in life, and we have to be able to live our life from a place where we do things that work for us. So not try to fit into model like a mold, and I'm this, I'm vegetarian, I'm this, I'm that, like a raw food is, or whatever. So just do what works for you. I'm vegetarian because of my own personal spiritual reasons, and not because I'm following any kind of trend or anything like that. I feel more in alignment with my higher self, and I channel better. I get more inspired. I'm more energetic, and especially because it worked for me. I'm a blood type A, and I know people who are blood type O. It's very hard to become vegetarian. If you're type A, or blood type B, it's easier to do a transition. But definitely, if you're vegetarian, make sure that you take your supplementation of like B12, the vitamin D, and all the supplements that we need. I do still eat eggs, so I do have my cheese. I do have my raw cheese. So I just prefer not to eat meat and things like that, or seashells and all that stuff. But just do what works for you. What you're gonna learn here in our cooking show is always be universal and open to receive what works for you. Okie dokie? Okay, so now this thing is warming up, and we add, the rice has the oil, turmeric, cumin. It has also rice, water. And now, like this is warming up now. Now we're gonna be adding the other ingredients. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be adding the peppers. I'm gonna be adding the other peppers. I'm going to be adding the garlic and the mushrooms. I know, under $20, and it's a lot of food, guys. So you can freeze this food if you need to. When you have a good day, on good days, it's good to also freeze food for like those days that we have rainy days, right? Meaning that those days that we don't have any money for food. So just make sure that you freeze it in a crystal container, and don't fill it up all the way to the top, or would leave some air so you can it doesn't burst the crystal and break it. So you definitely can freeze stuff for like 6 months. I know a lot of people say, oh, don't freeze, freezing is bad, but you know what? When you make a lot of food and sometimes you have blessings and you can save the food, don't throw it out, just freeze it. And it's good, you know? Don't be those kind of people that are like, oh, I don't eat food from 3 days away, 3 days ago. And especially with beans and rice, like sometimes it tastes better on the third day. So that's my experience. So we're gonna be adding more of those, of the ingredients. But right now we're just gonna go on a break, in a commercial break, because we need to do a trick. I'm gonna see you in a little bit. Welcome again, we're back. We have to do a little trick with our kitchen because we always try to make for meals for a family of four for under $20. And what happened is that God is great with us, so ended up having to be that actually the meals get bigger and bigger by the time that we shoot the videos, and we had to change our pot. So that was our little trick. So you can tell our vegetables are cooking and marinating. So we're gonna add more of it. We're gonna add our tomatoes and a mushrooms. Mushrooms and tomatoes. Our rice is kind of ready, if you can see it. So we lower it to a heat. We pretty much lower the heat to it from pot. As you can tell on the back end is a delicious black bean soup. So stay tuned to our videos to watch and learn the recipes for the black bean soup. So now what we do is, like, if you see there's some like extra water in the rice is pretty much ready there. So if you add too much water to the rice, it becomes very soggy. So actually this rice is like perfect. And the miracle happen because sometimes it doesn't come perfect to me. And we just add it back to it. Okay. So now we're just going to keep it on low heat. Low heat. And we're gonna keep adding the rest of our ingredients. So what we have is, we're not gonna be using all the peas and all the corn. We're gonna use half of it, half of the bag. I bought the frozen peas and frozen corn because pretty much I like to get them the organic corn. I like to get organic corn always. That's the only corn I will be using. So everything else, I can try to work with it, with some not organic peppers or tomatoes. But all the ingredients are like the tomato, the peppers, and the corn that we use in our recipe. They're always gonna be organic. Everything else we can try to work without it, without being organic. So, okay. So we're just gonna use half of it because my daughter loves corn, so I have to bring it back home. And then we're gonna use half of the peas. Oh my gosh, look at that! That looks so yummy! So colorful. And also at the same time we have the asparagus. The asparagus, yes, we're gonna use it all. But the asparagus, we're gonna cut them. The frozen asparagus from Trader Joe's again. Maybe these guys are gonna have to sponsor us, right? And then we're just gonna cut it in half. Okay, so we're gonna add this at the end. So now we're going to look at this. Is a meal itself, so it's just so yummy. Now I'm just gonna add some, I feel guided to have some parsley. I like to add parsley to dishes like this on dry, even though at the end we're going to add the real deal, the real parsley. A lot of the time the dry parsley will help us to add the extra taste of flavorful yummy. So here we go. We're just gonna smell good so far. So far so good, everyone. Cooking is so good for all your senses, for your sight, for your nose, smells, the ears. Like very yummy, sensual ability, you know? It's like you can taste, you can smell, you can hear the sound of the food. It's just very beautiful. I love to cook so much. So actually, I love to feed people. Yeah. If you're in Sarasota, call me up. Now we're gonna add the rice. Here we go, baby. I'm gonna add the rice. I'm gonna add like some part of it. Take another. I'm gonna scoop it up. Scoop it up. And scoop it up. And just, should that look good? But at the same time that we're doing this now, we're gonna be adding salt as it goes. Not too much. You can always add more salt. You can have like how many people you can eat out of that? Under $17, $20, guys. I'm not kidding you. This is under $20. You can have so many people eating. I told you. Every time that we cook, we're gonna do 3 recipes, the series of 3, and our budget is just $60. And and each meal has to be under $20. And this is a yummy, yummy meal for under $20. Okay, guys? I don't know if you're excited, but I am so freaking excited about this. And, okay, so we're gonna add more rice. You know, with rice, you can feed a whole nation. Rice and beans, baby, rice and beans. When we are in need, rice and beans. So this is a lot of food, guys. I don't know about you, but I don't know. So many people are gonna eat out of this, and everybody's like tasting it. My friend who is allowing me to cook in here, he's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to eat it. You know, all my friends are texting me already, like, when are you gonna bring me a dish, baby? So, yeah. Oh, this is so good. Okay, our dish is pretty much done. Vegetarian paella. Do we miss any ingredients, Mikey? I don't think so. We have everything in there. Oh, yeah, the asparagus. So, we're gonna add the asparagus pretty much at the end. Because they're already soggy, you know, with, and look at that. All right, there's so much food. Okay, so that's gonna be great. So just like I would say, like another 5 minutes for the asparagus to warm up a little bit, and our vegetarian paella is ready to be eaten. But anyway, in a few minutes, all the dishes are pretty much done, and we're gonna be serving. We're gonna show you all the 3 of them, so you're so excited to see and to really check out the other videos as they come up. And also join our Liberating Inner Beauty community. Yes, and the recipes are gonna be there, a lot of the health benefits are gonna be there. And please, if you have any comments, suggestions, email us at support@liberatinginnerbeauty.com. So now we're going to finally eat. So we're going to be serving our food. So now we're going to have a delicious paella. Ooh. This meal is supposed to be for 4. Look at this, baby. This is for more than 4 people. I'm gonna get that. Gonna get We're gonna shut it off already. It's like it's been cooking good time. That looks so yummy. I know. I'm a kind of like decoration girl. I like to decorate everything. Look at that. That is yummy. You can also do a slash of avocado too if you want to. So these are first series of meals for healthy healing meals. You can tell that we have 3 recipes. We spent less than $55 for all the ingredients. As you can tell, we have tons of food left over for more than 4 people. And for recipes like this, for the rice, the paella, the vegetarian paella, and the soup, you can definitely freeze it, like we've been talking in the whole videos. And you know, always keep it for like 6 months. Just follow the instructions of freezing that you may find online. And that's pretty much what we have for you today. We had 3 amazing recipes. Stay tuned with more recipes coming up, and we thank you so much. If you have any questions, email us at support.liberatinginnerbeauty.com. Any questions, suggestions, or anything you want us to do, be part of our community. You're going to have more access to more recipes in the future, exclusive recipes just for members only. And we're going to be hosting 4 retreats in Ecuador 2015, so check us out at www.shamanicadventure.com. Thank you so much for joining us today and for cooking amazing, delicious, healthy, healing meals. Have a great day.